Hey everybody, Bobby here at the GM table with another review, and today we are reviewing Survive This Fantasy. Now, I'm covering this one right away for two reasons. First of all, we just finished a 3-episode arc over on our Twitch channel of us running this with some of our friends from Saving Throw Show, specifically Eric, also known as Mostly Eric, and Jordan Pridgeon from Wildcards. Great guys, love them, as well as our friend Ellen, the lesbian GM. So if you haven't checked that out, you should. It's also available as recorded VODs over on YouTube, but not this YouTube channel. We do have a second YouTube channel where our recorded stuff from Twitch goes. It is called the GM Table Plays. I'm going to throw a link to it down in the description below. Hell, it's actually been down there basically every video, but people don't notice it, and that's fine. It's not for everybody. It's why we don't put our actual plays on the main channel. Some people don't want to see those. In fact, a lot of people don't. You want to come here for reviews or want to come here for tutorials. You don't want to watch an actual play. I get it. Hell, you probably don't want me talking about it right now. But with that, we're going to go into the actual game. Now, you may have heard of the Survive This line before. Specifically, one of the best known is Dark Places and Demigorgons. This is one of my favorite OSR books because, yes, Survive This is OSR. Specifically, it emulates the BX style of D&D. Now, in Dark Places and Demigorgons, I've done a review of it before. I think it was a perfect concept of taking the deadliness of BX D&D at low levels, adding it to 80s horror, and making that deadly situation really mesh with classic D&D concepts. Now, this is classic fantasy. In fact, you would think this was the first thing Bloat Games would have done. No, it's not. But at the same time, they've had the time to really make this something special. It is 2 books. There is the Player's Guide and the Game Master's Guide. And as of right now, it is available to the Kickstarter backers, but it is not out to everyone yet. Hey everybody, this is Editing Bobby, kind of interjecting into this video because between the time when I first recorded this video and literally the very next day, the game is out digitally on DriveThruRPG. It is $10 for the Player's Handbook, $10 for the GM book, so $20 for both books, which is the entire game. All right, you got it? Good. Buy. And really, it's just digital out to the Kickstarter backers. I'm getting physical copies of this. I really enjoyed it, and I'm really happy I backed it, on top of the fact that Bloat Games are just friends of the channel. Now, what is in this game? Well, first of all, it is a BX-style game. If you're not used to that, that is the basic expert version of Dungeons & Dragons, specifically Mulvey-style Dungeons & Dragons, the classic red box. However, it doesn't have race as class. You have your race and you have your class, and that is something I am happy we have mostly moved away from because I like being able to mix and match and make slightly unique characters. Now, along with that, what is in this is not your new modern D&D. You are not multi-classing. You are not doing a whole bunch of different stuff. There are skill checks, but there are also ability checks, and there is not one unified system for how the dice works. If you're making a save or an ability check, you roll your d20 and you're looking to roll under your amount, which means if you need to make a strength check, having an 18 and having a 19 strength are different, because an 18 strength means you roll an 18 or lower to succeed, and 19 strength means you roll a 19 or lower to succeed. You're probably not going to have that good of stats, but those are the examples that pop in my head. However, you think classic D&D, there aren't any supplement books, you can't multi-class. Really, how many options can there be? Well, there's 14 races in this book, ranging all the way from the ones you would expect, you know, humans, elves, dwarves. You can't call them halflings because the Wizards of the Coast owns it, but there are a tiny human race. But you also have kobolds. You have 9-foot-tall dog people, which we began to call long dog in our stream because, you know, one of our players happened to play one and didn't realize how tall they were till like halfway through the first session. There are a race of basically sentient bears. In fact, they still look so much like bears. People who don't know about the race just assume they're bears. There are ghouls. You can just play an undead that has to eat humanoid flesh every so often, or you start to go nuts. These are all just options. They're just races in the book. No special prestige class, no having to go down a specific path to become it. You can just start as this. There are also 19 classes, including the ones you expect, the Master at Arms, aka the classic fighter, thieves, assassins, but there's also psionic classes, and not just one. There's 4 or 5 different psionic classes. There's the mystic, which is their version of the wizard, which is one of those that really sold it on me because they can have a spell where they just conjure a portal that tentacles come out of and attack everyone around the portal as long as the portal's open. Stuff like that. It is old school Dungeons and Dragons. You don't get a ton of spell slots, but it's not as harsh as some of the OSR stuff. Starting casters tend to get about 3 spells per day instead of 1. And if you have an intelligence modifier, if you're lucky enough to have one, because it uses OSR and Mulvey ability modifiers, which basically means it's harder to get +1s and +2s, and +3s like as good as you're definitely getting. But if you do have a modifier, it gives you extra spells. It lets you know more spells, and it lets you get more spells per day. This is also the kind of game where when you gain levels, you automatically learn some new spells or new powers if you're psionic and stuff. To some of you who are used to newer games, you go, well, yeah, that's how it works. Not necessarily in OSR games. A lot of OSR games go, oh yeah, you have higher spell slots, but have you gone and learned the spell? Have you researched it, or have you found it in a dungeon? Well, then why would you know a new spell? This isn't as harsh, which is funny because it's the survive this line. But it covers all the basics. This is my style of OSR, where it's fun, it's punchy, it's pretty fast-paced, things work well. No one feels so overpowered that it's a supers game, and things are definitely deadly, but there's more than enough options and more than enough crazy zaniness in it to both make every game feel unique and not just like you're playing the classic Tolkien-style fantasy, while also not making you feel like you need supplements. Everything you need's in these 2 books. I really enjoy it. I enjoyed it when we did the playtest of it. I enjoyed it when I ran it on stream. And now that I have the actual copies, which they released to the Kickstarter backers, and I got the finalized version when Kickstarter backers got it, because I'm a Kickstarter backer, the day after we finished our stream. And I still love all of it. This is a short review for a pretty simple set of books, but go check them out, and I'll catch you guys later. Bye.